Comrades, brothers and sisters, today's a crucial day for the trade union movement, and not just those people that got jobs, but those people that haven't got jobs. Because you have the best job you can, but when you get home tonight, if your relatives can't get into an old people's home, or they've closed the Meals on Wheels down, or your next door neighbours had the horrendous butchered bedroom tax applied to them, then you better recognise the fact that it's got nothing to do with what the economic system is. It's about an ideological attack to take everything that working people have had since World War II. The reality is this, brothers and sisters, all of us talk about negotiating with the employer. That's what our job is as trade unionists. But when we don't get what we want, we go back to the members and say, that's what's on the table, pull up or shut up. Now we've had 2 demonstrations to ask this government to change its track, and it ain't listened to us. So they're the employer of the day, so if they ain't listened to us, they've got 2 options, pull up or shut up. They ain't listening to us, so the best thing we can do when people say in here at the General Council, there's nothing we can do, of course there's something we can do. We can do what we've always done, get off our knees and fight. That's what we've always done.
My name is Rob Williams, I'm the National Chair of the National Shop Stewards Network. We've called the lobby the TUC General Council because the General Council is considering submissions about the general strike that originate when a POA motion was passed in TUC Congress last September. The NSSN took up to 1,000 union activists to that conference to lobby it. The point is, that's 7 months ago. It's time to really stop considering whether it's practical. We know it's practical, we know it's absolutely necessary. The question is about naming a date. We are not opposed to the TUC naming a date of a few months' time, and then we can build a mass campaign.
Times I sat on the executive committee and previous general secretaries have said to me we can't take this action because of legal reasons. And they're the ones who's to bring the legal solicitors into the boardroom to tell us the reasons why we can't go on strike. Today you've got a QC going into the General Council to tell them that you can go on strike. And it's about time they listen to it. And therefore we thank the work that John Indy's done, we thank the work Professor Keith Ewing's done, and it's about time now, when people say that the trade union movement's in decline, if we called a one-day general strike as a starter, not as an aim, but as a starter, you would see mass amounts of people joining the trade union, youngsters, because they know that the trade union movement's got teeth again. I'll tell you my position here today. We name a general strike one day, but not just one day. After we have that day, we have another and another and another, so we have a government that gives policies to working people.
I'm quite proud that the POA moved this motion last September. We didn't move it to cause division within the trade union movement. We moved it because we believed there was a necessity to have it in our armoury. My union has suffered from the anti-trade union legislation since 1993, where we're banned from taking any form of action whatsoever. And the reality is we have taken action when our members have wanted to.
Well, the POA made it pretty clear last year that we've got to have everything in our armoury, including the prospect of a general strike. We make no apologies for that, because the reality is that's where there'll be strength and depth. I don't believe any one single trade union can take on this government on behalf of society, and that's the reality that we're facing against these austerity measures. So I would like a position where the General Council would not rule out the prospects of a general strike, not saying for how long, whether it's 12 hours, 5 hours, 24 hours, it matters not to me. It's just a matter of actually now making a decision.
I'm here to bring solidarity greetings from Southwark local government unison who supports the call for a general strike, but I want to speak in a personal capacity as I'm also a black members rep on the National Executive Council of Unison. And what Unison has already done studies that shows black workers are the worst affected by the austerity programme, so we need to fight back. You know, the mood of our members in local government is, you know, well, why isn't Unison fighting on pay? We're supposed to have a pay campaign, but nothing is happening on the pay campaign. They're saying that we can't fight against pay because, you know, workers are, you know, too worried about their jobs. But unfortunately, they're not fighting on the cuts either. So people are angry and saying that we do need to do something. We just can't wait around. Unison, unfortunately, leadership not even fighting on the NHS, and their policy is just to wait for the next Labour government, and then they'll save the NHS, they'll save us.
My branch has 5,000 members. our AGM in January voted unanimously for a motion calling for a general strike. Our branch committee took that motion forward to the Regional Council. Regional Council stretches from the whole of the southeast of England, the whole of the coastal area, from Kent up to Oxford, all across. Hundreds of thousands of members of Unison voted overwhelmingly for that motion. The southeast region of Unison, and I'm speaking here, usually I speak in a personal capacity, but I'm saying quite clearly that the southeast region of Unison supports a general strike. Linked to that, we always heard about Scotland. The Scottish region of Unison are supporting the general strike. It is out there on the ground that people are supporting this.
So I'm saying to the TUC to name the date, because we don't name the date, things are just going to get worse. So we do have to fight back. So solidarity greetings from Unison members in local government. We are really behind this, and because we need all to fight back together. So thank you.
But it is not an exaggeration to say that the hopes and aspirations of millions of workers are on this meeting. This is not unpopular. If you name a date today, if it's a couple of months, a few months, don't worry about it. If that's what's needed to call a strike, if that's what's needed to coordinate strike ballots, we'll investigate the legalities. Are you telling me really? Are you really telling me that it's beyond the realms of possibility that the trade unions, many of them in the public sector, in the middle of a 4 or 5 year pay freeze, is it beyond the realms of possibility that they can't coordinate strike ballots over the next couple of months, that they can't come to a date, that we can't organise meetings and rallies in every town and city to build for that strike? On November the 30th, we saw up to 2 million public sector workers on strike to defend their pensions. But it showed the power that working people in this country still have. But it wasn't just a mobilisation of 2 million trade unionists. 60,000 people marched in London, 30,000 people marched in Manchester, 20,000 in Bristol, 20,000 in Brighton, 4,000 in Taunton, thousands and thousands in every town and city. And are you telling me that it wouldn't be more popular now if those who are facing the bedroom tax, would they support the general strike? Those who are facing down the attacks on the health service, would they support the general strike? Those rent-ply workers who are sacked, those who've had their DLA taken off them, those who are going to food banks, those who are going to the loan sharks dressed up as payday loans, would they all support the general strike? Yes. It would be the most popular action the TUC could ever call. We tell them this. We marched in Brighton and we lobbied you in Brighton in September at the TUC Congress. You passed the POA motion then to consider the practicalities of a general strike. I'll ask you this question and I'll ask them. Is it practical to call a 24-hour general strike? Yes. Is it necessary to call a 24-hour general strike? Yes. Is it time to name the date for a 24-hour general strike? Yes. You got the message you want? TUC, name the date for a general strike. Let's campaign together to defeat the government of the fat cats and roll back the austerity offensive. Name the date for a general strike. Name the date for a general strike. Name the date for a general strike. Name the date.